when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening live to 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, or we like to just call it UPRN, and this is the thing at the foot of the bed. My name is Lorilei Potvin. I'm going to pass my amazing friend and co-host David over in just a sec. I get all the housekeeping things out of the way. So where do I want to start? I had my little list, and of course I closed my phone. So give me one sec here. I closed it. I like my little reminder list. Otherwise, I always forget something. So you guys, we're happy to have you here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I do have another show on Monday nights called The Angel Rock from 6 to 8 p.m. here. Also, I am a Canadian psychic medium. I should tell you my name, I guess, right? I'm Lorilei Potvin. I'm a psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher, and mentor. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a budding animal communicator, well-versed in near-death experiences, having studied them professionally and personally for over 4 years. And I had one as a toddler. I'm also extremely well-versed in the really spooky stuff. I lived in an extremely, extremely haunted house in my previous home. And we've shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor, Season 4, Episode 9, under Demonic Hauntings. I did not name it that. I'll tell you, but when we start talking, Dave, they called the part of our story Lorilei's Demons. And right when I came out and I seen her little flopper, I said, if you call the episode that, I swear to God, I'm going to walk right out of this. But what did they do? They did call it that. Anyways, like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. There is something for everybody on this network. We stream multiple shows live 7 days a week and and randomly puts out shows. So we really are streaming 24 hours a day on YouTube. But what else? So we have I think we're almost up to 40 hosts on the network. We're always looking for new and great hosts of excellent content. It doesn't have to be spooky. We have shows that aren't just spooky. There really is something for everybody here. However, 80% of our audience is audio only, and we do stream with this network to every country in the world, believe it or not. So if you want to join in the conversation, like Feathers and Flowers that says hi Lorilei and David, and you'll also notice if you're here with this show, David and I's show, it's very audience participative, and so is my own show, The Angel Rock. So how you can do that, because if you're listening, you can't comment, unfortunately, but we'd love to have you join the conversation. So you can head over to David's YouTube channel, which is the Spirit Experience. He also, you're streaming on Facebook, right, Dave?
I am streaming on my profile, yes.
Yes, so is it David Hanzel's Psychic Medium?
It's just Spiritual Medium David Hanzel, or Medium.
I always get that name wrong. Sorry. I'm also streaming to my YouTube, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. I'm streaming on Facebook on my profile, Lorilei Potvin. We're on Canada's Most Haunted. We are also on UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio on Facebook and YouTube. And we are also streaming to Instagram this evening. Hello, Phil, and hi, Nicole. Welcome. It's under The Angel Rock. Now, I'm hoping, I haven't seen a warning message come up, so they made a fix that. They were only letting us stream live for an hour, but they don't integrate the comments over here. So I will pop back and forth. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. But we're talking, I will try and pop over there and say hello so you can join the conversation. If you guys would like to watch us on TV, you can. The network has its own TV channel. We're on Roku, and you head to the channel store and you're going to type in UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop down list, and we're about the third or fourth one down. So you're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio, and that's us. And you can watch us on there. I think I remembered everything, Dave. I think I did.
I think you got everything.
Hi, we both know her from our Voldemort group. So hi.
Yep. Hey everybody that's on here. We'll say hi to you personally in just a moment. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium, and I am a channel. I do most of the things that Lorilei does, except I am not a registered nurse. I am more of an anesthesiologist because I have been known to put people to sleep.
Where's the key? Your pain away is what I was thinking. Not that you're putting to sleep.
Yeah. Welcome everybody. Just so you know too, if you're a listener and you want to see, sometimes we will show videos on our podcast, problem and such. But Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel, it is a private group. You can join that group and you can post things you want us to talk about, post your scary stories, your things that happen to you. And they don't have to be scary, you guys. We're going to be talking a lot of scary between now and the end of October. So, like, major fun. But outside of that, please join that group. When we do get to about 200 people, Lorilei and I will be going live in that group once or twice a month, at least, to do some private readings for you guys, have some fun, and answer some really bizarre questions that we might not even be able to answer on here, but we can do there. So welcome everybody who's here, and I'm going to head back to Lorilei because you had some. Lorilei had sent me some stuff. Some Bigfoot stuff we looked at. So if you guys want to talk about Bigfoots or cryptids and all that, let us know. Also, if we're going to talk about a friend of hers that is coming on her show.
Yeah, so I said I would mention him. Well, he's on the network too. And I'm going to say hi to Beatles 33.3 over on Instagram. I see you. Thank you for showing up. He messaged me earlier today, so I told him we're live. Now, the only thing is Beatles 33.3, we don't always see the comments because the beautiful thing, I do produce a show and it's on StreamYard. All the comments go in one place, but I have to keep trying to pop back over here, so we're not ignoring you in case we don't see you. We don't usually see. We got our regular. Should we say hi first, Dave?
I just told you guys talking about Bigfoot, and then popping on all of a sudden in the feed is UFO Bigfoot. So
yes,
hello. Synchronicity. Hello.
So we've got feathers and flowers. They say hi, Lorilei and David. We got on Facebook. She says hi, and I'm going to give her a shout out too because lots of time. Yeah, it was last week, and she clipped it for us, and she posts things for us too. She's done a really good. If you go into, I believe it's our photos, you're going to see. It, in the beginning, I won't open up that can of worms tonight, but we were being called the thong at the foot of the bed with Kevin Bacon's speedo that he wore in Friday the 13th, the first movie. It's quite funny. You have to go back to some of the old shows and see that. We've got Phil Wilson here. He says evening, and Gwen Patterson says evening. Michelle Wilfong, hey everyone. Diane Brighton, hi Lorilei and David. Happy Thursday night. Happy Thursday night to you and everybody else. And like you said, Dave, UFO Bigfoot says howdy, y'all. Oh, Kathy says we're breaking up. If anybody else is noticing that, let us know. But sometimes what happens on YouTube, Kathy, it will do that. So you might want to try closing your app and then go right back in, because usually we can see if we're breaking up. Eh, Dave? One of us will freeze. Or
I was going to make a joke about it when you said you guys are breaking up. I say, don't worry about it. We're getting back together.
Oh, Nicole says we are too.
Oh, so, we are breaking up.
I don't know why, because you guys are saying it's sounding crackly. Well, hopefully it'll settle. We are going to have a storm here. I don't know about you, Dave. What's weather like there?
Weather here is pretty nice, but yeah, if you're having a storm, because we are going off yours pretty much. I mean, I'm here, but.
Well, we're actually, I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. So this is the interesting thing. Okay, I'm in Canada. I think I forgot to mention I'm Canadian. Dave's in the States, and we broadcast out of New Orleans, Louisiana. So I don't know what the weather's like there, you guys. So I apologize, because even though it sounds clear to us, everybody's saying it's breaking up, and I apologize. I don't know what else to tell you because it's streaming properly. So unless something's going on with the server in New Orleans, you might want to try Facebook. I don't know, but hang in there, because Dave, go ahead and say something. We'll see, because it sounds pretty clear to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't saw any crackly reception here. I wonder why you're getting, you know what, it could be YouTube too. Are you guys on my channel, or, well, it's okay. Just hold on for a minute. If you go out and come back in, it might stop.
Yeah, we'll check Instagram, see if anybody's here. Let's see. We've got Storefront Theater X is following us, and they've joined. Welcome. You guys let us know, please, over on Instagram if you're having any audio issues, because YouTube seems to be having them. Oh, yeah, all YouTube. It's crackling, but not freezing on my end. You guys, I apologize. So, because it sounds perfectly clear, but that's not good. If it's clear for us, we want you guys to hear it. And Feathers and Flowers said, yeah, I just went out, came back in, but it's still breaking up on YouTube. It's crackling sounding.
Oh, it might be with StreamYard too, maybe.
I don't know, you guys. Hi, Karen Rose. Let me check Instagram again. We'll see if anybody's there. Nobody said any. There's people there, but nobody's commented. Storms in the south. Kathy Henley Little said that. That's what I'm wondering, because.
Oh yeah, there are storms. You're Kathy Hanley Little. You are absolutely correct. It is. There are storms, aren't there? I forgot all about that.
Because I'm thinking, like I said, we got cloudy weather, but sometimes we do have issues, but Dave will freeze or I'll freeze. Jennifer Malik, it's raining and thundering down here in Louisiana. Flood watch until Saturday. Thanks, Jen. So there you go. Jen. It's coming from New Orleans, you guys, and I apologize. There's not much else I can do. Diane said I jumped off. Not as bad here, kind of static. We'll do our best, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll have to let our station manager know too, because she's up right after us, Michelle DeRoche, with the second night of the Outer Realm. I'm reading comments and trying to think. Gwen says it's crackling on Facebook too. It's got to be coming from New Orleans, guys. Let's just hope the power doesn't go out over there. Otherwise, Dave and I'll have to stop and maybe just go live on YouTube or Facebook. It won't be on stream. That means we'll lose everybody. So cross your fingers anything doesn't happen in New Orleans. Yeah, Jen says no problem, tropical rain, but not tropical storms.
Oh, good.
Well, that's
okay,
good.
That's good. Yeah.
Stay safe, you guys.
Yes.
So I was telling David before that we have a new host on the network, Father Sean Whittington. And he is absolutely delightful. And he has a show on, I think it is, well, I can't remember who took over the Travel Channel, Discovery, I think. But it is, I guess, the Travel Channel, but it's called Eli Roth Presents Legion of Exorcists. And I thought, because I've helped Father Sean produce quite a few times, and he's coming on the Angel Rock on September 30th. His show is on Friday. You guys got to check it out, 5 p.m. Eastern, right before. My brain is thinking about all these things. I apologize. Right before my very good friend, Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who has Spirit Switchboard at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I cannot wait, Dave. It's getting close. October 4th to the 6th. You guys don't forget. We have the Lake Superior Paracon, and we've got people like Shane Pittman. I'm trying to think. My brain just went blank on me. I got to grab my list, or I'm going to screw it up as I'm thinking of a million things as I'm talking to you. Yeah, we got Shane Pittman. We got Jeff Belanger. We have the Travel Channel's Beyond the Haunting. We got Chris Rutkowski. He does UFOs and Bigfoot. Dee McCauley from Dark History. He's local here. Winnipeg Paranormal Group. And I'm going to be talking at it too. So, and a merch table. So, but Carrie Lynn and she's one of the featured speakers. So I finally got to meet her in person. I cannot wait. And Jennifer goes, great show. Hi, Connie Martins. Actually, you guys, I was actually a little creeped out. And I looked at it, and from the format, I think it's probably got to be made by the same people that do Paranormal Survivor and things, because there's reenactments. But some of those stories, and I was really, really disappointed I got to the end of the 6th episode, and that's all there was. So I know Father Sean had said write in and let the network know if you like it. I'm going to be writing a letter because I want to see season 2. It was spooky. Like some of these stories were crazy, Dave. And I know we talked before the show that's kind of not your thing that you like to talk about, so we won't focus on it. But
I don't mind talking about it. It's just I'm that person with the bad attitude about it. But it's fun to talk about. In fact, I even pulled up some fun facts about it and everything. I've got because let's face it, whatever we call it, I mean, to an extent, there's got to be some kind of realness to it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. I mean, there must have been something that prompted us to come up with that. So I have to say,
okay, so I know one person here who can definitely vouch for my experience that is in this audience is Jennifer Malik, because Jennifer Malik has had activity at her home while I was calling into Paranormal Soup. I believe actually we were doing a movie night. If you remember, Jen, it was with Rob, Autry, and Bill. They had done a movie night. We had so much fun. She was having all kinds of crazy stuff going on at her place, and you could see the stuff in the background. I used to call into Paranormal Soup. You guys check it out, Jason Bland, Facebook and YouTube. I believe it's 11 p.m. Eastern. It's a 3-hour show. He has incredible guests. He's a fantastic host. It's a great show. Great audience. Yep, Jennifer says, oh yes, I remember all of that. She does, because I know of all the people there. Howie would probably know too, because that's how I know Howie is from Jason's show. Yeah, it was crazy. So you're right. Regardless of what you call it, right? And we live in a duality on this planet. We have positive and we have negative of everything, right? Yin and yang. And I don't know where the heck these things come from, but I don't know. It was creepy. And I have to say, well, I guess you could not be truthful, but some of these people, most of the cast is with some type of church, like as a pastor or what have you, not all of them. So it was definitely very intriguing. I'd never heard any of these stories before. So it got me a couple times. I didn't want to look at the screen because I knew it was going to be a jump scare, and I hate jump scares. So it's a good show. I enjoyed it. Definitely. So I sent you some crazy clips, and the one is really old. Do you want me to play that?
Yes, let's play one. Oh, wait, let me help. Well, we have some questions about that real quick.
Oh, do we? Okay, you talking? Hi, Jennifer M. Are you talking about feathers and flowers?
I think it's raining thunderstorm, and saying that they can physically hurt people. Oh, you're adding to something you said, probably about exorcisms or spirits.
My partner was thrown 15 feet across the kitchen in our previous home. Bites, scratches, burns, all kinds of things like that. And it started with a crazy dream. It's like it happened 10 minutes ago. And it introduced itself. I've had people come for me on paranormal panels and tell me that it couldn't possibly be, we're going to say the dreaded D word, demon. That's what it and it was trying to get me to follow it, and it's not radio friendly, but I told it in my dream, and then it tried again, and that's when it introduced itself and said it was, again, I told it where to go, and it was not radio friendly, and then it started kind of mockingly wagging the story because a lot of people have heard it. And I called on Archangel Michael in the dream, and I woke up shaking, crying, and in sweat at our house. We are breaking up, Marissa. We're very, very sorry. What's happened is Louisiana, and that's where we broadcast out. I'm coming over here all of a sudden. Decided
I got to tell you, this is about exorcism. It says that the number of Catholic priests trained as exorcists in the U.S. has grown significantly in 2 years. history used as a political tool for during the Middle Ages. All that. See, that's the stuff that when I went way back. I don't knock if people do it. I mean, you do what you do. You know, I talk to other people that they might think that doesn't exist either. So it's all good. There was, it comes from the Greek word exousia, exorcism. That's really quite. And then there's a side, but.
Yeah, but anybody that's a response, Jenna's done a lot of work with this. Well, part of it is I think if you're reputable, the system.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah, they do. The psychological aspect. So I'm glad you brought that up. The exorcisms strongly believes they are possessed and that their exorcism will cure them. It might actually have
episodes these people work.
I'm not going to defend that because I will tell everybody in the whole world sugar pills. Everything is like that. I mean, if you believe it or don't believe it, it can. I saw the Exorcist movie. Didn't care for it, but I have saw other movies about exorcisms that were quite entertaining that I did enjoy, and they were quite spooky.
Guys, seen the Exorcist for kids coming out on Etsy. No, I haven't, and I have strong opinions about that. There should never be made. And actually, Diane Brighton said that's really odd, Kathy.
Oh, Evil is an amazing show. Evil is so funny. Andrea Martin from. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Canadian. Andrea Saturday Night Live is Canadian, and then he used to have a Canadian version called SCTV that had John Candy, Eugene Levy, Andrea Martin. All these
fun fact, you guys. I studied improv at Second City in Chicago. One of my teachers was John Candy's teachers.
Well, and then they had Catherine
O'Hara.
Thank you. She was on there. I know Mike Myers, because they would have Second City in Canada as well, right? A lot of those guys that are Canadian that went to say.
That's why I watched Eugene Levy, Rick Moranis, all those guys. Mm-hmm. But to get back to the point that Andrea Martin plays the nun who can see demons in the show Evil. You have not seen it? It's a really good show.
I have to check that out now.
It's some of it is hilarious. Some of it is, I mean, it's very dark humor too, but it's great.
I'm waiting now. You got me hooked because you brought it up so many times about what we do in the shadows. And then Carrie Lynn Shelhorn told me, do you know where that came from? And I said, no. She goes, there was a movie on that concept released, I think, at one of the Cannes or TIFF, like Toronto Film Festival. Yeah. So I watched that. You and I sent it to Carrie. Then somebody, I was going to say somebody had clipped Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows, some of his sayings, and it was so funny. I recognized the voice right away what he was saying.
Well, that's the kind of stuff I watch for scary stuff. I watch Evil, and I like What We Do in the Shadows.
I'm rewatching, because I'm absolutely hooked on the Lord. What is that?
Do you remember that synchronicity?
Pardon?
I go to. We talked. There's like tons of synchronicities happening, but last week we were talking. Remember, we kept talking about the Lord of the Rings and everything. And then,
oh yeah, you never seen it.
no, I
right?
never saw it. But then when I never saw it, I don't know anything about it. I go to check my emails after here, and there's an ad for the Lord of the Onion Rings. Remember that? And I was like, where did that come from? It's like somebody snuck that in there. They're like, let's tell them we're listening. So I'm like, okay.
I am also hooked, and you guys, I am a big kid. I just turned 59. I'm a huge kid because I am hooked on, and it's only usually adults that buy these things anyways. It's called Miniverse Make It Mini. And so they now have a Lord of the Rings series, and it now comes with molds. I'm making these incredible swords, and they've got these little pieces all to put together. They come in a like a mystery ball. But if you follow Reddit, you got to love Reddit. Reddit always helps you out. People put up the codes. You got to look for little pinholes in it to get the right ones. And I just bought one. I splurged tonight. It's a box, and it's all mini, based on, some people call it Reese's. In Canada, we call it Reese's. Peanut butter cups. There's Hershey bars. There's Hershey chocolate syrup and little mini ice cream. I am going to be having a ball with this. But the big one that's coming out, and I've been looking and looking. I have it on order. It should be coming. They do a Halloween, a Christmas, and an Easter series. And in the seasonal ones, they put special things that you can get. Anyways, this one is based on Beetlejuice, the new movie. So yeah. I can't wait for it.
No, I was going to say, for more, you know what I was just thinking, Laura? It'd be funny, like we like what we do in the shadows. They ought to do a series on the demons or the things that have been exorcised from them, and do a funny series on that about how they feel once they've been exorcised. Like I
liked in the series that they did, though? They actually included an energy vampire, which those things are real.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was really good.
You guys, I thought it was. I literally heard from Spirit. I literally heard this. Halloween is a Thursday night, y'all. So what do you say? I haven't talked to Michelle yet. I probably will, because last year we put together, I did, and Carrie Lynn helped, and whatever, we did a network Halloween party. So I don't know, because the girls, Amelia and Michelle, have their show right after. But if we don't do a big, say, Halloween party the night of Halloween, Dave and I will be here for Halloween. So we could just do a Halloween party with all you.
Or go to a Halloween party and play us really loud on the speakers.
Right. So we've got, people are saying they love that show. Oh, Diane Brighton's son went to the same high school as John Candy, and she said they went to John Candy's funeral. That was really sad, actually. Oh yeah, we got to do, that's why we were kind of doing more spiritual stuff, and Dave and I can talk spiritual for years. But the thing is, it's UFO Paranormal on United Public Radio Network. But spooky, y'all.
Spooky.
Hi, Roger. He said, it's been a while. It sure has. And Michelle Wilfong said, that'd be cool. So do you want to play this? Okay, it's really cheesy, guys. Get ready for this. It's old, and I'm not going to tell you my reaction, but I'm sure you're going to tell us yours when you see this. Right, David? Yep. Let me find it. I made sure I sent it to myself here. Okay, not that one. Here we go. Okay, let me get it loaded up, and then I will start here, because I'll get the present, add to the stage. Hang on here. Facebook, that's what we want. Facebook, share. Okay, give me a second. I'll get it. Oh, I have it almost going. I wonder if I can make it bigger. And one of these days, there we go. Facebook lets me do it, but YouTube doesn't. So give me a sec, guys. We're going to add it to the stage. Not that long. So
there it is.
Is it coming? Let's see. You guys, again, if you're just joining us, we apologize about the, sorry, it wasn't. We apologize about the crackling. We figured it out. We believe it may be coming from there's some storms going on in New Orleans, Louisiana, where we are streaming from. So this isn't very long. Oh, David Hansel's up here. I don't know why David Hansel's up here, but let him be. Hang on. There we go. I don't know why that went up there, Dave. Good thing. Is this the one? This is not the right one, guys. Go ahead, David. I have no idea why this is here. It should not be.
It's the one about, if some of you guys might have seen it.
I know. Don't know what. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was one about a lady who her toast came out. You know how everybody sees, Jesus and the crust or whatever. She saw it wasn't it the demon or the devil or something like that. It was absolutely hilarious thing. Hey, Kelly. Well, that's okay.
You know what it is? I found it. You know what it did? Somebody sent me a message. I don't know why people do that. I love that people send me messages, but everybody messages me when I'm live. As I went to play it, it switched over to the message that somebody sent me. That's what I knew it was there because we saw it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you got
Dave?
it now?
Oh, did we lose Dave or did we lose me? Are you there, Dave?
I'm still here.
Am I there? Are you there?
I'm here.
I'll wait till one of us. Am I? Okay,
You're
good.
freezing,
Somebody's mad. Somebody gave us a mad face. I'm sorry if you're mad, guys. I apologize. If you're mad, go ahead, Dave.
Can they see both of us now? Can you see me now?
I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, there.
There we go.
Hopefully this won't take too much bandwidth, you guys. Okay. Let me play it here. I gotta unmute it.
Why have you
unmute it?
This toaster?
Well, Richard, you know, when all is said and done,
really small,
it makes good toast. Twice, we heard, "I am the devil."
Sorry, I don't know why the writing's so good.
A very low voice, I'd say, sounded like Eli Wallach.
Have you saved any of this satanic toast?
Yes, I did save it because I wanted to be sure that somebody else would see it. Now this one, can you see that, Richard? Satan lives. Just terrible.
Is the toaster still possessed?
We still have trouble off and on with it, yes. Let's see now.
I just went with that.
It seems to be aware.
I don't know why the princess. We'll post this in the group, you guys. We'll post it.
Why have you kept this toaster?
Well, Richard, you know, when all is said and done, it makes good toast.
It's just
we heard, "I am."
We had.
I gotta.
You saw that toaster to talk about. I know more of the story.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me? When I was a very young boy and we had so much activity in our first house, I apparently, because my dad said he remembered, we were talking about it the other day and I was going to bring it up. When I was a little kid, I went and tore up the neighbors' flowers in their flower bed because I was mad, but I was picking them all. And my mom made me mad about something and I was picking those flowers for her. So I threw them on the ground and I called her a name or something like that. And when my dad came home, I got a spanking, a bad spanking for telling my mom I hate her and I wish everybody was DEAD, whatever, when I was a little boy. And I had to go upstairs to my room. And I went upstairs to my room and I sat in my bed and my brother's bed was on the other side of the wall. And I was sitting in my bed. I was mean. I was sad. And I started going, "You'll get yours." And you can ask my parents. The socket all of a sudden started sparking. All these sparks came out on the bed. And my dad and I said, yeah. And my dad came upstairs and I started yelling and it stopped. But it left. They kept the bedspread for the longest time, and I don't know what story they used to tell about it. You know, they wouldn't tell their friends they spanked their kid, but you know, this is the 70s.
It's probably telekinetic because especially young children, especially teenage girls, when they're emotional, if you have a pretty powerful emotion, and you know about energy, that can happen. I want to address this. Okay. Some people are saying the audio is okay. Roger, I highlighted you because you came in a little bit late, or anybody coming in late. This happened right at the beginning. Now, we did hang up for a minute just before I started the video. That screwed up. But the problem is I'm expecting a storm here in Thunder Bay. And we broadcast out of New Orleans, and Jennifer Malick's in the chat. She lives in that area and she says there indeed is some storms there. So we think it's coming.
Not better now.
We're broadcasting.
I just think it's going in and out. So anybody who's coming in, so we don't have to repeat ourselves, it's just going to go in and out. There's not much we can do about it. Sorry.
Well, I can
But
I
yeah,
never-
that's a true story that happened. It actually sparked in the bedspread. It sparked. I remember as a kid because I remember seeing it, and it never ever did it again. But that was like 60, 70, 69, 71, 2, 3. Yeah, it was about like 72, 73. So that's how long ago that was. So that was really quite odd. And I guess it makes sense because when I was a little boy, we had a lot of activity in our house, and it followed us from house to house. And I had a lady a long time ago, I was younger. She goes, "You're a physical medium." I'm like, "No, I'm not, and I'm never going to be."
But you don't even have to be a medium for that to happen. Like, I mean, some people are pretty powerful, like I said, especially as children, if the emotion is quite powerful as well. I know, but especially with teenage girls and emotions while they're going through puberty. Definitely.
I've heard that before. And I'm not making this up, but you guys, I'll tell you, it's true. I have heard that before about young girls because their emotions run so high that they're actually things are being. I'm not blaming somebody. This isn't a shame on girls. I'm just saying it happens when high emotions run. That's where where I believe most ghosts that are out there are usually if they are, what's the word, residual or something, you're seeing them because the energy was so strong around something that energy stays there, and then it's perceived by other people. So that would be an unintelligent ghost. And then there's the intelligent ghost, whole other story. But a lot of that goes through. And that reminds me too, a guy came up with the theory of why he thought ghosts went through walls. Did you see that?
No.
I'll have to send it to you. I understand how he came up with that theory, and it's because the house changed, and because they're on a loop and they keep walking through. If a room changed, like where there used to be a door and it's now a wall, you're just going to perceive it walking through the wall. I don't know how true that is, but I thought that's a very interesting theory. I'll give the guy credit for even coming up with it.
I had never heard that before.
No, I just heard it yesterday.
Ooh. Hang on, I'm trying to fix this here if I can, if it's going to let me. It won't let me scroll it. I want to scroll it.
Diane Brighton says, an old neighbor yelled at my dog during a dog walk a few years ago. Streetlights blew up and freaked her out. That'll teach her to yell at dogs.
So we go ahead, Dave. I'm going to try and do this while we're talking here and see if I can get things going here, because I'm going to so we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. I'm going to scroll this across the bottom. So give me just a minute here.
Got it. So you guys, you're talking about telekinesis of scared. Yeah, some people do, I guess, to an extent. There's studies out on telekinesis and that there is realness to it. Unfortunately, the weird thing about paranormal and spiritual things are, even in the paranormal, and if you're not one who actually had the experience and there's a witness with you, people will always cast doubt on something. And I get it, though, because we're trying to prove something. We're trying to prove that things are real. But the telekinesis I can see, because I've gotten mad and certain things happen, but not all the time.
I don't get angry very often. If I do,
me neither,
no, but I sort of internalize it. Like if I'm really angry, like I will be vibrating. But I could tell you, I guess if I really wanted to, and I'm sure you've done it already, Dave, you guys have seen me with a pendulum before, and I'll hold it here and I'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. I'll tell you it's going to swing in circles and it's going to stop and what have you. It's because once you understand the principles of energy and kind of how to manipulate it, and anybody can do it. I'm not special. You just got to focus on it and start believing in it and practice a bit, and you too could do it. But so, yeah, I guess if I wanted to throw energy around, like people don't even realize though, like if
you can make energy, not to get all spiritual, because we're going to stay spooky.
No, but this is spooky. What I was going to say, Dave, if you're really angry or you've got a lot of hatred towards somebody, you would not believe what those emotions can send to people. I have had probably it was early summer. I don't know who it was, but somebody, and I had 4 different friends that are psychics and mediums, all tell me the same, that it was sent to me. I was sent 2 dark entities. Now, I don't know if it was hatred. I don't know if it was anger, but it was definitely from emotion, or somebody could have decided to send it to me.
Well, yeah,
But I
well, there's vibration behind everything. So you just never, and maybe the vibrations are the one that breaks things. You know, like a singer, when she sings and she can break a glass, or maybe emotions can do the same thing, can cause something. It's from the vibration of it.
I kind of think, though, if something comes here from a lower dimension, we want to think about any of the spooky ooky, Bigfoot, aliens come from a different dimension usually, or a different planet, that again, they might be evolved and made differently than us, but they're able to exist here. And where I'm going with this is, I don't think human beings have ever been taught to recognize how powerful we really are, because that's what
I know they haven't. That's why that's the reason for the whole spiritual movement that's going on.
I know you're talking about spiritual. I was just saying that's why we get tulpas, because enough people talk about a paranormal entity, and they like Thin Man. Thin Man was a creepypasta story. Now we're seeing video of it. We're seeing pictures of it. We're seeing people saying they have had encounters with it. That was just a story, and look what happened.
Yeah,
it can happen.
I always wondered, I did some research, and it's hard to find it because there's so many different opinions as far as tulpas go, you guys. So some people talk about like Bigfoot could be a tulpa. I don't think Bigfoot's a tulpa, though. I think Bigfoot's an actual real thing. But
I think it's a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But like a tulpa, I had asked, I had tried to do the research. Once enough people stop thinking about the tulpa, does the tulpa's energy dissipate again?
I don't think so, because I think that once it, and again, the New Jersey devil, for example, could very well be an interdimensional being, but I don't think so. I mean, it came from somewhere. I don't know. Did the energy believe in talk? And I mean, people celebrate it. They have festivals for it. I don't know. But to me, I think once that's a good question now I think of it, Dave. But to me, if it's been able to manifest in that energy to maintain it anymore.
Well, like us, we no longer exist once somebody else stops thinking about us.
That's true. If a tree falls in the forest, anybody hear it?
In the forest, do a bunch of ghosts, give a funeral for it.
Well, Kelly, I wanted to go there with this because, like I said, we're kind of getting more into the spooky stuff. We're in spooky season of UFO, paranormal, and United Public Radio Network on 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And this is the thing at the foot of the bed. We're glad that you're joining us. So just so we don't repeat ourselves, if you're having any audio issues, it's going across the bottom. But for people listening, and I'm in Canada, Dave's in a different state than Louisiana, not he says. So I think that that's what's going on. But Kelly,
you don't have his ear with this.
I meant please stay with us.
I was laughing as I went by. We know it means
I'll
there.
fix it. I think it's haunted tonight, you guys. I did have the right video. Like Dave said, he saw it, and somebody sent me a message just, but it wasn't the one I loaded. But Kelly says, reminds me of Firestarter. Now, interestingly enough, if you guys know what that movie is, there is a guy, Lynn Buchanan, Joe McMonagle, and there's a bunch. Actually, the movie also, The Men Who Stare at Ghosts. I remember listening to Lynn talking about this because he teaches people with Lori Williams how to remote view. And he said he was exactly like the time he got angry and blew up the whole lab, like didn't start a fire, but blew up all the computers. So he knew this, that if he got angry, bad stuff happened. So there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the persona of a creature instead of. Well, that was.
Question.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but when I run it through my head real quickly, there's one problem with the spiritual world which we have not gotten yet, and that is there is an absolute truth. There is. We'll all get to it at some point.
Dave, go ahead.
But
what I'm going to answer, Fleetwood Paranormal, 100% I believe that. I don't know what's inside of this entity's head. Besides it, but let's just
no, she's talking about like Bigfoot.
Okay, well,
or
the way I'm
monsters that
taking it, or
see
do
or
we have
cryptids
entities
are-
taking on the persona? Say if it was Bigfoot, taking on the persona of Bigfoot, no, I have not experienced that, but I was just about to give an example to explain myself. So I have seen that something that appears, I had a shapeshifter in my house that would appear as myself. It was not myself. It would mimic, or a mimic, if you will. That's another word for it. Take on the voice. Also something negative to get its way or communicate, merge energy with, say, especially people that are vulnerable, young children or whatever. They will pretend to be something else rather than what they really are, is what I was going to say. So I know what you're saying. Do we have entities pretending to, say, be Bigfoot or whatever? That I don't know, but if other spirits can do it, why couldn't they?
Well, yeah, because there'd really be no reason behind it. It's kind of like I'm an entity and I'm wearing a David costume.
Well, Fleetwood Paranormal says exactly, so they agree with me. But go ahead, sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that every entity is copying every other entity. If that was the case, then all of us should just stop doing this because they're never
entity. They said, "Do we have entities?" Not every entity, but there could.
Say it that way. Do we have entities that do that?
Yeah. That's the question. Was I on the wrong question or something? That's what I was at.
Yeah. Something could take on something.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I don't know. Just as an example, because I was asking for one as we're talking, say, I don't know what, maybe something could appear like Bigfoot to get deeper immersed into a relationship in the way with the person that believes in Bigfoot.
Oh, it could.
Whatever reason.
I was just explaining to people like spirit guides and all that stuff. You're looking at the avatar of the person because otherwise there is no form. So that's why I was telling people you can. It's possible to be whatever the heck you want or show up like that. But yeah, there's been shaman. There have been all kinds of things who shapeshift. But most people will take that. No, people be like they're shapeshifters. That means they're skinwalkers. All the time when we say everybody says everything's a skinwalker.
Or a demon.
Like, yeah. Or, that's what.
Who is that Angel?
No, it's actually a gnome.
Oh, I thought it was a gnome at first, and then I just seen the hook of it, and I thought,
do you know why?
No.
You
That's what it was. Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like, you guys, tonight's the night. If you got questions, like, that was a fan. Great comments. We're here to talk about spooky. So what? Even if you guys got some spooky experiences that you want to share,
let us know. Yeah, this.
I got the latest Nukes Top 5. I'm going to show a few things here. I think I'm just going to get it going. You said you can't hear what's playing. What was playing?
No, I heard did you play something? Because I heard
I did. Okay, so you did. Okay, this one was actually interesting. Now, this happened, this one I'm going to show you. Present, hang on, I will present it on live television when it happened. And it, hang on, I'm going to get it right at the beginning here. I want to start. People writing in while they were watching and calling this station. Now, it's not in English, but there's subtitles. No, I haven't yet. Hang on. Add to the stage. I'm sorry. You got to read the message across the bottom. Hang on. Okay. Ready?
Got it.
This next creepy footage was captured live on national TV in Argentina. So in Argentina, there's a program called Phenomenos, which is broadcast live and covers notable weather. Bertolotti is doing normal weapons.
Por eso es el día quizás de estos próximos días, porque se viene la humedad y ahora sí, la esperada lluvia en la zona central que está.
I forgot to warn you guys for fair use. If you can't see it on the screen, I will be posting this video after the show in our group on Facebook, so you can see it, or you can find it uploaded 5 days ago, so you'll be able to see it. But I believe Nuke, he makes it bigger so you can see it. So hang on.
Yeah. Now, for the people who are just literally listening right now, what we're looking at is a weatherman, like if you're watching the weather and he's got his weather screen behind him, and it's a split screen where they're showing an outside camera to show the weather, and something weird goes across the ground.
Yeah, hang on. He'll explain all that.
The program switches to a live security camera overlooking the boardwalk of the city of Corrientes, but something pale and translucent can be seen walking across the field and out of frame. The strange figure looks almost like the torso of a person, with arms moving quickly, almost as if whoever or whatever this is running. A shocked viewer is watching the show and shares the footage to his Instagram. It quickly gets a massive amount of attention. By the end of the program, Matthias looks at the footage live on air and says that both he and the TV crew have no idea what this is. But they do note that whatever it is, it doesn't seem to have any legs.
¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es eso que pasa cuando estábamos en vivo? Esto sucedió en vivo. A ver, esto no.
So what he's basically saying, I can stop it probably now, but he's saying this happened live this evening. I mean, we're not I'll say to be safe on YouTube around. I'm serious. And that's basically, I had no idea, but I don't want to keep playing it because there's subtitles on the screen, but for people listening, you won't be able to understand. So hang on one sec here. My computer's haunted again, you guys. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Excuse me, just a sec here. We might have to flush the toilet. Give me 1 sec, guys. My computer is doing I'm telling you, last week it was the UV. Yeah, I think we're going to just flush the toilet here. And I'm going to give Howie Odell a big plus for that because he came up with that one and it works well. Yeah, somebody was putting crazy comments in here. I have no idea. They're just, I don't know if they're cat was walking on. What's that, Dave?
I thought that's what did you see my message? I messaged you.
I did. That's why I said, hang on a minute. And you know what? I got that from Carrie Lynn. I was watching her show because normally I try and do it while I'm talking and I'm multitasking. And she just stopped and said, hang on. She mentioned Howie too, bringing it up. So I said, he calls it just taking a second to flush the toilet. And that's what we did. So were you guys able to see that? Like, what did you guys think of that? Could you say?
I thought that was really cool, but I think I might have an explanation. I don't know if it's true. I'll tell you when you look at it again. He looks like he's running with no legs. That's true. But it really looks like a person jogging. I wonder if across from that, well, no, but maybe no, wait.
Stranger,
my theory could suck. But let me say this. it looks like if a camera was shooting the opposite way, like somebody jogged past like a Macy's window and it got caught and the reflection went across. But I'm not sure.
If you watch it, when you watch it on your computer, because I had to watch it a few times because at first I couldn't even tell what it was. But when you look, okay, when he starts to run, and you got to see it on a bit of a bigger screen. There are no legs. He's semi-transparent, and as he starts to go off the screen, he fades away.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The only now, if somebody said, "David, do you have an explanation?" I don't, because I think that's a pretty cool video, actually.
And it was live.
Yeah, it was live. If I like I said, if somebody said, "David, you have to come up with an explanation," that would be my explanation, that it was a reflection. But that's not always the case. But that's a pretty good video. I like that one.
And it's not a paranormal channel; it's a weather channel.
Yeah.
Right. Like they do a live. Obviously, they can swear in Argentina on live broadcast television because he did afterwards in the subtitles.
So the only thing we can do is if we can go to, depending on how old that is go to that network and look up to see if anybody found out what it was. It might be there by now.
I don't know. They were pretty shocked because they didn't see it during the broadcast. The only reason they found out while they were still live, people were calling this station, and I think some social media platform it streamed to. People in the comments were going, "What the heck was that? That was on the live feed outside the studio."
Yeah, it was pretty cool one. I like that one. It was fun.
Hello, Kasoon Lee. We have not seen you in forever. I actually sent Kasoon a quick message and said, "Hey, are you okay?" He said, "Hi, Laura and Dave. We're happy to have you here. And I hope you heard us last week, 1266. You said hello. We say hi back." So it was interesting. There were some interesting videos on this one. So do you want me to play one more?
Yeah. Let's go for it.
I'm trying to decide what one I want to play because there was a couple I went through. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Oh, this one's interesting. This is in Canada, actually. And I thought maybe it was in Manitoba, which is close to me, but it isn't actually. It's in Saskatchewan, I believe, which is sort of the middle of Canada. Okay, so give me a sec. Taking off the presenting because it does lag. And since we're having a few issues already, I didn't want to do that to people. So that's why I got to reset it up again. Just 1 second here.
Oh, that's okay. Well, while you're resetting that up, I have a question. After the video, you can answer it if you want. How many cryptids are around Canada that we might not have heard of in the States?
We have so many cryptids. The weird thing where I live, and I've said this many times, we have every kind of paranormal. I know British Columbia has a ton. I have not really heard anything in the province of Saskatchewan, but Saskatchewan is flat like a pancake. And so is, I believe, the tail end of Manitoba as you're going into Saskatchewan, called the Prairies. So, but I know anything with a lot of trees and water and whatever, like Thunder Bay isn't the only place with activity. Canada has a ton of activity.
Yeah. And to all the people who are listening in other countries, if you could join our group, the Spirit Experience, and let us know what cryptids are in your country, because it'd be really nice to know. It'd be really interesting to know what you have, to see if they're different or they're the same.
I think that's a great question, Dave, because have you noticed this, you guys, and when I say guys, I mean guys and girls and anybody else, that however you identify, but there's different entities depending on where you live. Like Japan, how many times have we seen footage? And again, this day and age, it's so hard to tell if something's faked or not. So even back in the day, before you could fake things that we could use, the girl from The Ring. Now, is it a tulpa? Is it part of the culture that this is, or La Llorona, the woman in white that's crying, right? And the story behind that, we see that in South America a lot. I've seen a lot of video clips of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. You just never know. I mean, some could be stories based off an incident. Who knows? We just don't know. Leslie says, do you think the cryptids are thriving now more than in the past? No, I think they were stronger in the past than they are now. I do.
You know what I think it is? I think it's been what it always was. I think they were here before we were, especially when it comes to, you call it Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, and Sabe. That's what the guy that has How to Hunt. He has a channel in BC, and I'm sorry, he'll never probably see the show, but he's not always the most pleasant. But he gets people writing in from all over the world, and he doesn't call them Sasquatch anymore. He uses the word Sabe, and people write in about their experiences with Sasquatch and Bigfoot. But the thing I do like about his channel now, or I don't watch it all the time, is that people are sending in video clips and pictures, and he's starting to share them.
Oh, that's good.
The other person, you know who gave me a good channel to watch, and I'm going to try and get back into it. Our mutual friend Leanne sent me The Cryptid Huntress. She remote views too and stuff, and she's got some pretty fascinating.
I'm a big fan of Small Town Monsters on YouTube.
Oh, I haven't tried that one. I'll have to check that out.
Small Town Monsters, it's good. They do a lot of Bigfoot stuff, and even if they don't, I will say this: they're not faking evidence. They either get it or they don't. But I will tell you this: if you watch Small Town Monsters, that's the most beautiful B-roll you will ever see of all these forests. It's absolutely beautiful. I watch it sometimes just for that. I'm like, I don't even care if you find a Bigfoot. I want to see that beautiful forest.
I think that's awesome. I had a question that somebody messaged me. I was going to ask you guys. Do you guys, well, what do you guys think? I want to hear your answers because, Leslie, that was a great question. I think, though, with the cryptids, I have to say with dogmen, they have come out of nowhere, it seems. Like, I know that there was a civilization thousands and thousands of years ago that resembled a dog. I do know that they were upright. But all of a sudden, same as black-eyed kids, where I have no answers about that. That topic fascinates me. I don't ever want one knocking on my door at 3 a.m. But where did they come from? They just seem to come. I think it was back in the mid 80s to early 90s when the first guy reported his story of it, and it still happens.
That stuff can be really.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll play this clip, and then Kassoon, I'm going to highlight your comment right after, because I think it's a great comment. So thank you. So this one takes place, you'll see, Nuke explains it pretty well.
From a cemetery that is the final resting place of nearly 19,000 bodies. With a location like that, it's no wonder that the hotel is being haunted.
Sorry, I started a little early. It's in Saskatchewan in Canada. Okay, so you guys know, and this is a hotel, but there's 19,000 people that have died that are all buried across the street in a cemetery.
Now, Jenna is working the front desk at 5 in the morning when she and one of her co-workers, Tim, spot something very odd on the lobby security camera.
They said it's not the hotel that's haunted. It's the graveyard.
Oh.
So this service road here where Danny's Stone, you really think
right,
that's a good one. Moved him over to the graveyard?
He'll replay this, you guys.
They dug up the bodies and what?
Do they have it there, buddy? Yeah. Hey, Noel. What's up?
Oh yeah, I see it again.
Yeah, let's try and sit in the chair. Sometimes he'll stay there for a minute.
He is. How do you know this?
Well, because Danny and I caught him earlier when Danny was in the games room locking up. I freaked the out because I saw it. And then I tried to do a video review to record it, and it wouldn't let me.
A faint, pale figure can be seen moving around the hotel lobby and sitting down in one of the chairs before just disappearing completely. Jenna's coworker Tim claims that he's seen the bizarre figure many times before, and he believes that it has wandered over from the cemetery across the road. But lost spirit or not, I leave that up to you to decide. Mirror.
So hang on, what do you guys think?
I like that one, and you know why? This is why I like this. And you guys don't call me crazy, but even if you do, that's fine. When I have told you, when I see things that other people can't see, it resembles that. It almost looks like that smoke or that heat. So, and that guy, I could tell from his voice. Trust me, doing what I do. He was not. That was not scripted. That was just him saying it. Now, is it a ghost? I don't know. I will say the rooms from that hotel have a view to die for. But outside of that, I don't think. I thought that was a pretty good video. I liked it.
I thought it was good. Actually, I've reposted because I get a lot of new followers and people that have, that have sent me a friend request. So every now and then, especially with spooky season coming up and the paranormal conference coming up, I reposted all my links. They're pinned to the top of my Facebook profile under Lorilei Potvin. And I was looking for something to post, something spooky that had showed up. And I actually found that before and after, because I have posted the after pictures on TikTok, and I've got people messaging me going, what is that? Where did it come from? I actually found that before and after, but I also found, and I've seen this with my own eyes, this black, heavy mist. And I have pictures of it going across this lane. Mm-hmm.
The mist, Lorilei and I will both agree on this one completely, is that there's a lot of mist that seems to be something else. And the reason I look at it as mist too, because even for like my NDE, and you're probably, if you remember this or ever had an NDE, I mean, just spirits don't have bodies unless I have one, but you can see like that mist or an orb or something like that. That's kind of like, I kind of think like the mist is more of our true form.
Maybe, but I think it takes.
I don't know that for sure.
I think it takes a lot of energy to manifest. And the other thing is that was a white mist. The one we had was black. Now, again, you and I have both agreed that when somebody sees a shadow, like a shadow, if you see a shadow and it's moving and it's not connected to any human, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a shadow man or it's something evil. It takes a lot of energy to manifest, right? So that maybe is an easy form to travel in, because I know these guys didn't see it with their eyes. It's the camera that's picking it up. I was just thinking about you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
hey you guys. No, I was going to say, you're going to find this fascinating, because there was a theory about this, and I think, I don't know how correct the theory is. I mean, how can any of us prove these theories unless it's sitting right there? But it makes sense. When we are standing someplace, like if I'm standing someplace and the sun's behind me, you'll see my shadow on the ground, which is literally in what 2D is. Our shadow would be in 2D. There's 1 and 2 dimensions, or actually 1 dimension.
1 dimension, yeah.
Now, so when we see, so we're 3D, we are 3D things. Some of us have 4 and 5D consciousness, but our bodies are still 3D. It's 3D, height, width, length, time, whatever. But anyway, if there was an entity like a ghost or something like from a 5th or 6th dimension, it might cast a shadow here too, and the shadow would look more 3-dimensional. I think sometimes like shadow people that we see, I think they're the actual shadow of an entity, not the actual.
I have had a shadow man. Now, my good friend Heidi Hollis has trademarked that name. She talks about it. She has a show on Coast to Coast AM. She's written books about it and I've had other people that when supposedly a ghost or for lack of a better word has been caught and there's a shadow, that's how people say, nope, can't be. I don't know. Could it be? Because I have talked to people that are mediums, and we've shown videos on this show where somebody has been caught. The manager was up in the office looking on the security cameras, and there's a worker down there talking to somebody, full corporeal body, looks like a human being. And you find out afterwards when the boss is talking to the guy going, who are you talking to? Oh, it's Mr. So-and-so. And it was from a car accident. The guy was coming to see how much his car cost to get fixed. I remember showing this. It was quite a few months ago on here. And he goes, there's nobody there. He goes, what do you mean there's nobody there? He's here. He goes, come on up to the office. And he shows him the footage. And this guy thinks he's talking to someone. There's nobody there. And the guy died in that car accident the night before.
I have a theory that sometimes only certain people can see things at a certain time. So like the guy talking, like he was allowed to see that person. He's having the conversation and nobody else could. Who knows the reasons why?
Yeah, but that's not the first one. I've seen hundreds of things.
Oh, there's tons of those that happen. Oh yeah, those happen quite a bit.
And you catch it on the security camera. There's no miss. There's nothing. but the person has seen a full-bodied person there. It looks like, and
Yeah.
I've met other people that have seen that too, and then they realize that it wasn't. There was no one there because they literally turn their head and the person's gone. There's nowhere for them to go, or like at accident scenes where the people say somebody shows up that's a nurse or a doctor or something, and they help and they end up saving the person's life. And then just as people start to notice that somebody had helped, this person's gone, just disappeared, right? I do want to say hi to Shannon Casey, because Shannon, I was just thinking about you the other day. She goes, greetings to you both. Sean and I are both here. Well, welcome.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
Go
Fleetwood.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, nothing. No, go ahead. I was going to read.
Okay. The Fleetwood Paranormal, the Shadow Hat Man I saw was absolutely flat 2D until it moved. Then it was 3D and it stopped moving. I believe you.
I believe you. Yeah.
I have the guy at our house. We had 4 main entities. My strongest clair, we're not getting spiritual, but you'll hear it called that, or sense, was always hearing. I now am starting to see much more than I used to, but my partner and my 2 boys have always been able to see, and they would tell me different points in the day if they'd seen something. They weren't talking to each other, almost word for word. We had the main entity that came to me in that dream. It usually showed up as a black mist. Then we had the female, if you want to call it a mimic or shapeshifter or doppelganger. Those are crazy stories about it. Then we had the guys, my 2 sons and my partner named it. So if you're old enough to remember Super Mario Brothers, there's a little character wearing, it looks like a black Grim Reaper's hoodie and a monk's habit, and he's got a white Jason mask. So the guys all named him the Shy Guy. And then what was the 4th? God, Shadow Man, Hat Man. So we had the Mimic, the Shy Guy. They were the 4 main ones. We sometimes got different stuff, and it would show up. I have a picture of actually the Shy Guy from our security camera. So, and I took a picture, ran outside as quick as I could, like 10 seconds, and because our monitor was in our basement, took a picture outside, nothing. It showed up on our security monitor.
Ooh, that's cool.
Why?
I still every once in a while, my friend, I have a sensor. If something comes on my porch, it goes off. But every once in a while, it picks up a car. Like if a car goes past,
mine does too,
pick it up and do that. But you know what really freaks me out? When I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden it'll go off, it'll go on, and I'll look out my window to see the car go by, and there's no car. I'm like, all right, now who's on my front porch?
Well, don't you remember? I think I've shown a couple of videos because we've caught stuff with our security cameras in the backyard.
Yes.
And then the one night, I remember my partner woke up and he goes, "Were you messing around with a security camera in the backyard?" And I go, "No, I don't touch those. You do, remember?" And the cameras are made so that somebody couldn't touch them and manipulate them physically. You have to use the app. And what we realized was it was going off because the backyard camera, which goes this way, was turned. So I said, well, let's go back to when it began. So we did, and it was like 3:16 a.m. The camera's sitting perfectly straight, middle of the night. All of a sudden, violently, it goes whoop, like this, straight over to the side. There was no hand there. There was nothing. It didn't malfunction. It's never done it since, knock on wood.
I know that stuff is so creepy. I've seen, not at this house, but another house I lived at. I'd look out the back and I'd swear, like I'd see the tree, like trees, and it'd be nighttime, and I would look and I'd swear somebody was like standing next to the tree going back and forth like this. And I'll see that stuff. I'll probably see that stuff to the day I go back home. But that stuff always freaks me out like that. Just seeing that.
I never went looking for this stuff. I always say it found us. It wasn't that I wasn't a believer, because as a nurse, working in palliative care especially, and on the floor working nights, I had so many things happen. Shannon, I'm going to call you out. You're a nurse. I'm sure you've got stories for days. They've also had extreme paranormal experiences. And Leslie says, thanks so much for sharing your own stories. Very enjoyable. Well, thank you. Feel free to share yours as well. We will share them on here. But the thing is, after that, like I never went looking for this stuff when it started happening in my previous home. We still get activity, but it is nothing like the previous home. Thank goodness. So Fleetwood Paranormal says, I was used to our usual ghost residence. This guy was an anomaly in our house. He appeared once and I never saw him again. He totally upset all the other ghosts. I could understand that. I totally could, because if he's kind of negative and probably kicked his butt out, I would think, because if you got good ghosts at your house.
It's just not going to allow you to be there anyway.
We forgot Kassoon's thing, and then I'll answer your question, Ife Lode, I think it is, Kassoon. So because we said we were going to share it, then we got talking. So you want to read it, Dave?
Yes. Kassoon says, the only thing I can think of from the top of my head is called, she's talking about cryptids I had asked earlier from other countries, what you had. So this is Kassoon's. It is Mohini, and I hope I'm not butchering that. Mohini, the phantom woman carrying a baby. Well, that's not a cryptid, but that's a goat. Yeah, that would. There are stuff like that, like the Lady of the Lake and all those other stuff. When you hear, it doesn't necessarily mean there has to be an entity that's doing this, but the energy could be always going on.
That's when we were talking about tulpas, and we said this because that's when I said geographically it seems there are different types of entities. Like I remember I mentioned Japan, and I know in South America, or you've got a big Latino community, the belief, there's a story around it, a legend of La Llorona, and it's the weeping woman in white. And I have seen video clips of things like this. I've seen it caught on truckers' cameras, driving down the highway, minding their own business. Actually, I think there's a video in this Nuke's Top 5. Somebody caught one. So let me go down a little further. Hang on. I'm just going to address this quickly. So hopefully I don't mess up your name, and please forgive me if I do. Ife Lade. Actually, we talked a little bit, not a lot, a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. So you're more than welcome to go back and watch the beginning. But we have Father Sean Whittington on the network now with his own show on Fridays, and he's on Eli Roth's Legion of Exorcists. So I was talking about that. Both Dave and I were at the beginning. So feel free to check that out. You want to read?
Yes, Kassoon says there's a famous story that goes like a truck driver was driving at midnight and this Mohini thing, I love that, appeared ahead of the road. The woman carrying the baby hailing the truck, and the driver picked her up. And
I don't think he's picked the rest yet.
Yes, that's a common story in just about every country because in my country, we have the old stories constantly about the girl in the dress on the side of the road and that's looking for a ride. And it turns out to be some girl who died before prom or after prom. It's a lore that goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm not saying that they're not real, though. I
have seen clips in Japan where cab drivers who have cameras have picked up, it looks like a real girl. We can see from the camera that she's see-through. I have seen quite a few videos over there too, and I've heard that legend, what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, we have those legends. The only thing I always wonder about those legends, and this is what I'm waiting for, like we have this good stuff and people will swear up and down, including myself, that something's real, but I always have this in the back of my mind. If they've got all that evidence and if it's there, wouldn't Japan be going, hey, America, there are ghosts because we got them over here. We literally have this proof. But nobody ever puts the proof out for some reason. And I think it's kind of because maybe people aren't ready to know.
There's a lot of channels that put it out, but they've got different privacy laws in Japan versus
I don't mean Japan and I just mean other countries that have stuff and they won't tell other countries. That's why I think a lot of
who
stuff.
Are they going to tell? You can't tell like the government. The government doesn't care. You're going to tell one government versus another government.
No,
right?
But I mean, if somebody in that country took a picture of, let's say the Great Wall of China. So they took a picture of the Great Wall of China, even though I live over here, I've never seen it. I've only heard about it in books. And they say, David, see this photograph? This is a real thing. I could sit here and go, well, not according to me. I've never saw it. So that's what I mean about spirituality. We all have, it's so tricky.
I don't know. I've seen lots of clips from other countries and stuff. Like my adopted daughter. So Kasun, he finished off his comment. So Kasun lives in Sri Lanka. My adopted daughter, I call her. She lives over in Sardinia in Italy. And I've seen quite a few documentaries about the giants and giant tombs over there. And I remember when I first met her, she said, yeah, I think I heard something about it. And I've sent her the documentaries and stuff, and she's dug more into it. And she says now all of those tombs are completely cut off from anybody going anywhere near them.
Yeah, I can see why. That's what I said. There's a lot of stuff I just don't think we're supposed to know. And that's why I don't think other countries tell other countries some things.
I think they do. I've seen lots from other countries. So do you want to read Kasun's last part of his question?
Yeah, it was what you talked about. she got in the back seat. The driver drives some distance, looks in the rearview mirror, and the woman was biting the neck of the baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, that turned out to be, that's a bummer. I just want to go home now.
Yeah.
I didn't read ahead on that one. Okay, now that's a
driver got so freaked out and drove too fast to the, so he'll let us know the rest. Janie, thank you. She says, Janie Mashburn says, interesting, great show. We appreciate that. Now, Shannon shared an experience, and she's a nurse. That's why I said, I know she'll have experiences, because I'm writing a book about this, about our experiences as nurses. But she said, I had an experience a few weeks ago. I went to the staff bathroom, and all of a sudden the toilet paper roll started to unravel. Hang on, I gotta go up a little bit higher. Sorry, guys. Started to unravel like someone was pulling it. I turned to wash my hands, and the tap turned on without me touching it. Within 7 days after it happened, we lost 3 patients. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like hospitals are notorious places for activity. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah. They are, and they need to do, you know what I think they need to do in hospitals? Kind of like wouldn't this make sense? Kind of like they did here in the States with UAPs. Now, if you are an airline pilot or something, you can freely go ahead and do the report. You couldn't do it here before 2017. You'd be ridiculed and be kicked off your job. Now people can report stuff, and that's why we're getting more stuff, because now they can openly report it. I think the same for hospitals. I know there has got to be a lot of stuff that
but
nurses and
from
doctors
having worked in a hospital.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. But I'm going to say there's got to be a lot of people in hospitals that have seen a lot of stuff, and they probably can't tell everybody either, because people will think they're crazy.
No, I can tell you right now, and Shannon, you can back me up on this. Believe me, when you experience weird stuff, no, you're not going to tell everybody, but you are going to tell people on your shifts. Like I can tell you every time I work nights.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. But
you can't go to management; they don't care. It doesn't make.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. They should be able to report this stuff.
Well, it's not that you're banned from telling it. I could have went to the director of nursing when I worked at the hospital. I did, and told her about some of this stuff, but. What is she going to do with it? Like, that's just it, right? It doesn't make them money. Management is in the healthcare business, right? It's about keeping the lights on.
When you get enough,
but we're not banned. We could tell them.
I don't mean, well, neither are the pilots. They're not banned, but if they say something, they're going to get chastised for it.
No, we wouldn't be. I can tell you right now.
Oh, you do here. You will not find a nurse around here who will tell that they'll go on YouTube and make a TikTok. But yeah, it's kind of like.
Did I miss that?
He died of a heart attack.
Okay, where are you talking about then? You won't find a nurse. Oh, you mean, are you talking about where you live, or?
Oh, here, yeah, like in our hospitals. If a nurse was constantly seeing spooky stuff and went to the administrator and said, "I'm seeing all this spooky stuff," they would right away do something.
Yeah, but a nurse wouldn't do that. What a nurse would do is talk to the rest of the girls on their shift and the other girls and guys, I shouldn't just say girls, and ask, hey, you guys, did you ever experience anything weird in room blah, 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 or what? You would go as a group. Like that's what I was going to say, though. Even the hospital I worked on, and it's no longer standing anymore, but the top floor, I didn't work on that one. I worked 2 below, and we used to call it Stairway to Heaven. Because I don't know why, but they would lose a lot of people on that floor. I know that they had some palliative patients and older people, but they had other things too. They always lost a lot of people. So no, you wouldn't go I'm just speaking from experience. I would think you wouldn't go on your own, but as a group, because we talk, right? Like any job you're in, like even your job you were at, you guys, if you started seeing really weird stuff or someone else did, you'd start to talk, and then other people would talk, and then you'd all compare notes, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes if I say something though at work, they'd say, I don't want to hear about that. And they walk away and get mad about it. Or even when I was a child, I seen tons of ghosts. I had tons of stuff happen. There's no way I could tell people back then because they caught me crazy like they did. So that's what I'm saying. If it was more acceptable for even like a group of nurses to go to the head and say, hey, this stuff is happening here in this, and like not, weird stuff, but just to say, hey, everybody maybe needs to know this. It's kind of like near-death experiences. There's literally
a lot of nurses are in our field. A lot of nurses I have found are in our field. The other thing I was going to say to support this, there's a couple nurses on TikTok, you've mentioned it before, and I have, that work in palliative care and stage of life for people that haven't heard palliative. And they talk about and they answer questions about death and dying, which is beautiful. And this just happened to come up in my feed. And she was talking about, she was sitting in her car and she kept hearing this voice telling her, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I had no idea. I'm going on and on. And she had just come off shift. She's a community health nurse. So she was sitting in her car, I think, trying to process. They knew it wasn't going to be long for this patient. As she heard the voice, the phone rang, and it was the next nurse on shift saying the patient had just passed. She is 100% convinced that that voice that she heard, it was his voice telling her how incredible it was as he transitioned out of this lifetime, going back home, as I call it. She's not a medium, but she heard it. That's why I'm writing a book about this, what we experience, especially as nurses, because we really do. And I've got crazy stories already that are really phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. I know there's tons of them out there. I'm sure there are stories that have never been told yet that are amazing about ghosts.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It would be nice because you can't, like, even I told one of my doctors eventually what I was going through because I was quite close. And the first thing she said to me is, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? I said, because I didn't want you to 5150 me, basically sign me up into a psych hold for 72 hours. And she comes from a different country. And she goes, oh my goodness, no. And she had explained that they call it jinn. And most people know what jinn is. And she said, you might call it a genie. There's good and there's not so good, bad, she said. And we talked about it. But I had been seeing her for a couple of years before I said something. So I hear what you're saying, right? If it could only be acceptable to be able
That's what I mean. More acceptable. Because even I remember when I woke up from my coma, when I was talking to the doctor and a nurse about what, if you could see their faces, they're poor. I feel so bad for them because I'm telling the doctor about something he said to me while I'm on the table and I was already under anesthesia or whatever. And they're like, how did you hear that? I'm like, I was sitting here. You whispered it in my ear. No.
God forbid this happened to you in the 80s because they couldn't tell anybody back then.
They could not tell anybody. But even the doctors, the nurses around what I did, they were fascinated, but whenever the nurses would talk to me about something, they'd lean in and like whisper what they said. And I'm like, why don't you just say it? It's totally cool. So that's what I mean. Just what you said, you put it together very eloquently. It should be more widely accepted that they should be able to do it. More accepted, that like, okay, they saw something. They're not crazy. They literally saw something,
I just know as a group, we'd all talk and say, have you noticed anything? Like they wouldn't come out and say, oh my God, I saw a ghost. Like, I'm sure most of us, because having worked with them, you would sort of say, hey, by the way, whenever you've gone into that room or near that room, or that's what you really seen anything weird or felt anything weird. Yeah. And some people may say no, but there's probably at least a couple that have experienced what someone else has.
To this day, though, I'll be with people like in a place that's kind of creepy or something. And sometimes if they don't do what we do, like if you were with me, I'd be like, Lorilei, did you just hear that? And you'd be like, yeah, I just heard that too. But sometimes I'll hear something and I'll say, did you just hear that? And they'll look at me and go, hear what? They're like, they don't want to say it. I'm like, you heard it. I know you heard it.
We live, sleep, and breathe weird, though. So
I know that's true. That's true. That's very
let's
true.
read the last part of Kassoon's thing from his comment. You want to finish it, Dave?
Yeah, I can tell you the whole story. Actually, I memorized it. So Kassoon said there is this woman that she carries a baby, and she had gotten into a truck driver. Somebody was giving her a ride, and he looked in the rearview mirror, and she was biting the baby.
Oh, cool.
And then he went to the police station. He ran to the police station, and the cops came and checked out the truck and everything, and said that there was nobody there. And the woman had disappeared into thin air, and the driver was so freaked out that he died of a heart attack.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible, Kassoon.
That's a good scary story.
I'll say.
That's kind of gross. I mean, somebody had asked today, and you guys, since it's Halloweeny, and I thought it was a cute question. They said, would you want to be would you rather just go from the apocalypse, or would you like to turn into the zombie? You know, and I thought to myself, what a question is that?
Well, we have to be careful with the A word, unfortunately, but it's not your fault. How do you know? The words change all the time. That's what I just said.
If the world
okay, but what would you do if you had to choose the thing that begins with A or the zombie? And you guys let us know what your thoughts are. We got a little bit of time left. Leslie says fear is limiting. You are so right. So what would you choose, Dave?
Me? Well, it depends on what kind of zombie it was. If it was the brain-eating zombie and I still knew who I was, it probably wouldn't be that. I'd starve to death. I'm a vegetarian. But if it was just the rage zombie, yeah, if I was a rage zombie, that might be kind of fun because there's a lot of people, but we would know it anyway. Because I think you would be, I don't know how zombies work. I mean, we have so many of them, and because they're not proven or necessarily real, I guess we don't have any scientific thing to go, is a zombie actually, is your soul actually present in the zombie, or is your body just animated and it's working just off the consciousness without a spirit?
Well, I believe you're already past and that you really don't have any brain function, but I don't personally know a zombie. So
yeah, we don't know. Yeah, I don't know any zombies. I do know some people who act like zombies, but that's about it.
Okay, but like we're talking Walking Dead. First of all, Fleetwood Paranormal, you say check out the Haunted MD. What platform is it on? Because I just checked on YouTube.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. Are you talking TikTok or whatever? Please, I'd love to check it out. Okay, so to me, I guess if I was a zombie and I'm what we normally see, I guess, as zombies, you really wouldn't know what you're doing. You're just basically an animated body, and I wouldn't want to hurt other people. So, but I wouldn't know what I was doing. So I would choose the first one, but I don't want to live like they did in The Walking Dead because I hate fear and jump scares and stress.
Yeah. My thing is, it's like, even if somebody were to go on the news right now and go, there's an asteroid headed towards Earth and the whole thing's going away, I wouldn't, but only because of my experiences so far, I'd just be like, I don't know, okay. I go hang out with my cats, do a Zoom call.
Yeah, but if you were a zombie, you'd want to eat them.
So I would not want to be a zombie. I'd rather just go than be a zombie. Zombies would be boring.
Marissa says I choose neither. Howie Odell, was your ears ringing? Because I was talking about you earlier. You guys check out Howie's network, Riff Nation Network. He's got the Orion Effect with the amazing co-host that he has, Rhonda, who I absolutely love. We've been on their show a couple times. He's got great programming and he supports our network all the time. So give his network out, check out. But I was giving you credit because I heard Carrie Lynn use it. And so I wanted to give you credit too. We had to flush the toilet. I hate when people do air quotes, but I'm doing that right now. Had to flush the toilet a little while ago. So I gave you the credit for it. Oh, okay. So Fleetwood Paranormal says Facebook page. He's an internal medicine doctor and internal medicine doctor and investigator. Oh my gosh. I have to check that out.
That's
Want to read Kelly's?
Kelly says, haha, I can only run for so long, max 2 blocks. See, that's me too. Zombies seem to have to cover quite a bit of ground, and I don't know. I like to go
with the first option, though. Like, think about the other thing that I brought up too. Okay, so if you watch The Walking Dead and you had Rick and you followed Rick's story and the whole thing, and then Negan came along, right? And
Yeah.
Negan supposedly was really evil and really bad. And my partner and I were having this discussion. What if the original story that we started watching began with Negan and Rick switched places? Rick came in about season 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Wouldn't we think that Rick was the bad guy? Right? It was all about perspective.
It is about perspective. I have never saw The Walking Dead.
It's good. so is it Fear the Walking Dead. It's beginning of it all. It is creepy.
I never have been a zombie fan. The only zombie movie that I've ever liked was, I like the very original black and white first one that came in. That was really good. I like that. And it had and then there's 2. I was on a first date with somebody and we saw that one that came out in it was either late 80s or early 90s. And they did a total turn on it. It was like a surprise ending and it was actually sad. They actually changed that movie to make you feel bad for the zombies. And well, these were the slow walking zombies that people were just, they'd want to bite you, but they didn't know, but at the end they showed the people, they took the zombies and they strung them up and they were beating them like piñatas. And then at the end of the movie, they said, "Who's the real monsters?" And I was
that's what Leslie, to support your comment, says, I wish more series showed the backstories for the villain. And I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, there is, because I've always wanted to write a story about the Wicked Witch, the original Wicked Witch in Hansel and Gretel, and her backstory before the kids came, because she was, who knows, she might have been it was during that time in Hansel and Gretel, the original version, weren't there like cannibals or something like that in Germany, or there was like a cannibalistic thing. And it's like, what if the witch was just trying to eat her candy and not eat other people? And here comes these little kids wanting to, do this, that, and everything.
It goes back to my old saying that behavior never happens out of the blue.
No,
so all we see in that moment, if it's a villain, we see the villain, and you're right. We don't get to see why they became the way that we perceive them in that moment.
Exactly.
So we only have like a few minutes left, you guys, but don't go anywhere, because the second night of the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano is coming up next. But I'll read a few comments here. So Kassoon said, I think zombies we know are just a creation of movies. Real zombies are originated in some African country. They bury some people alive thinking they are dead, and the person comes back from their something. I'm not sure what. And Marissa says she thinks The Walking Dead was good until they unalived all the original characters. Oh, Kassoon says they come back from a coma or whatever comes back.
Well, there's truth to that, because when if you ever wonder, when they used to have people, the people who watch the graveyard, they watch the graveyard for this reason. Back then, they weren't always sure if somebody was completely gone. So they actually have a bell when you see the bells. And then if they could ring the bell. The second thing is, there's a lot of stuff went on Facebook where they showed a cage over the top of it. And everybody's saying, oh, that's because they were afraid in case they were zombies. So there's a cage there. And that's not what that cage was there for at all. It was for the grave robbers. So
I will agree with you, Leslie, about Neil Gaiman did a good job. He writes incredible movies, incredible series. But you guys, we have to sign off now. This is the fastest 2 hours of my week, I swear. You want to tell them where to find you, Dave?
Yes, if you'd like to know more about me, find me, get a reading or anything like that, you can go to my website, thewhispertome.com. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok under @medium David Hanzel. No numbers, no slashes, no dots, no nothing like that. My Facebook group is called The Spirit Experience, and so is my YouTube channel. And my website is thewhispertome.com. Go ahead, Lorilei.
Okay, everybody. Like I say, stay tuned. We got more great programming coming up right after this. I want to thank you for being here. If you ever want to get a hold of me for a reading, I do crystal Reiki and energy healing. I do teaching and mentoring. Right now, you can get a hold of me on the facebook.com/the Angel Rock. I am working on a domain name website. I am working on some courses I'm going to be putting out: Introduction to Spirituality, Intermediate, and then I haven't decided what the last one, but it'll be more advanced, I guess, is what I'm talking about. So I'm working on that. Once I get it all together, It'll be in one space. But the fastest and easiest ways to get a hold of me on social media, especially even Facebook Messenger. But I have a platform on every social media platform you can possibly imagine. I also have a YouTube channel, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. And I have 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rocker Tribe for more things spiritual. Monday night, I will be back with the Angel Rock. I had his name here. And of course, I escaped me for a second here. Now I got my calendar up to check when Halloween is. Don't forget, you guys, if you got some ideas and you want to have a Halloween party, Halloween night, let us know what you want. Tell us in the group or send us a message. I have Paul Nugent coming on. We are going to be talking about ETs and UFOs at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday live. And we want to thank you all for being here. So you ready, Dave? Stay spooky, guys. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky, you guys, and we'll try to say it again. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
We're way off. Anyways, you guys,
guys,
we love you. We'll see you next week. Okay, same time, same space. Stay spooky, everyone. And join our group. We're getting close to 200, and then we're going to start going live in there from time to time, you guys.
Join the group. Join the group.
That's right.